Hello, I'm Grin, and welcome back to another Robocraft Infinity video. And to begin with today, we're talking about something that's really rather cool. Namely that Robocraft Infinity is hosting their first contest. They've tweeted out over their Twitter, as you do, that they're holding their first art bot contest via the official Robocraft Infinity Club. What's the Robocraft Infinity Club, you ask? Well, I have absolutely no idea. There's no link directing to what it is, and googling the term official Robocraft Infinity Club only turns up this tweet. So, hopefully it's not too important. Regardless, it's really cool that they're actually doing a build competition. One of my favourite things back in the day, when Banjo-Kazooie actually had a forum and was supported by Rare before it was abandoned in the cold, is that they did monthly competitions that actually gave you prizes. The competitions were great fun, it did a lot of good for the community, and I won a sweet poster and a copy of Banjo-Kazooie for the Xbox Live Arcade, so you can't really complain about that. The competitions back in the day for nuts and bolts had thematic guidelines. For instance, one month you had to build a Star Fox vehicle, another might have been a Halo vehicle, etc, etc. Although, as far as I can tell, the competition being held for Robocraft Infinity seems to have no real structure and you can just build whatever you want. Although, when I say whatever you want, I of course mean whatever you want within reason, although it might not actually be that reasonable. It will be extremely interesting to see what 10 bots win this competition, because to enter the competition, you have to upload your bot to the Robot Factory, which is the share system within Robocraft Infinity. Why I bother to mention this is because to upload a bot to the factory, you have to tick a box to indicate that you've read and understood a message from Robocraft, which states that they respectfully ask that any bots uploaded has A. No profanity in the title of the vehicle or otherwise, C. Must contain no plagiarism so you're not ripping the bot off of someone else, but here's the clincher, B. The bot you upload must be of original design only and contain no copyright protection. So essentially it has to not be someone else's IP and therefore must not be a replica bot. Any scroll through the factory will show that this is not exactly heavily policed, but there's a difference between turning a blind eye towards something and actually selecting something that you've explicitly forbid as a competition winner. That said, the Robocraft Infinity official Twitter has tweeted out pictures of replica bots before, including the Roadrunner and Pokemon, and even actively promoted a bot in the factory that was an X-Wing. So they're sort of inconsistent here. To be clear, I'm not saying that Robocraft Infinity should not allow replica bots. It is building replica bots that I personally enjoy most in this game, but it's somewhat galling that there's a big scary warning saying that you might get banned if you share a replica bot, while Robocraft themselves are actively promoting replica bots on their official Twitter page. So it will be very interesting to see if any of these 10 competition winners win with a replica bot. Me personally, while Robocraft's stance on replica bots is entirely contradictory, I entered a robot into the competition which looks like an octopus that I've named Octoblast. The competition is open until the end of day Monday, American I suppose, so you've got not much time, and if you want to enter the competition, you better get a wriggle on. You do so by uploading your bot into the factory, and then sending the bot's name to the user Noddy Dog. Which is kind of a weirdly roundabout way of doing this. I mean, it's their game, and it's an online game, so you'd think that they could just put a banner that says that they're doing a competition, and click here to enter a bot. But whatever, as it stands, this is the way they're doing it, so do this if you want to enter it, and good luck because the competition winner gets 1,000 galactic coins. Which I was going to make a snide remark about probably being worth $1 or something, but scrolling through the cosmetic section, it would actually buy a pretty good amount of stuff. And with that, we've wrapped up this section of the video talking about the competition, so let's move on to updates. Which, to begin with, it looks like they're working on fixing the disconnect issues that have been plaguing me so harshly. They've tweeted that if you are getting regularly disconnected from Robocraft Infinity, then please report it to them because they're trying to debug it. Which hopefully all goes well because there's nothing more annoying than having to face a leaver ban for not actually leaving. And while that's just an update that they're currently working on, this week, they've actually fully implemented another update which, in their words, has rebalanced all game modes to offer a shorter, more intense experience and less waiting time for matchmaking. But what does this actually mean if we cut through the buzzwords? Well, it means that team deathmatches now have a kill limit of 15 rather than 25, and the battle arena's length is now 10 minutes long instead of 15. I'm not really sure I agree with this change. 15 seems like far too few, and 10 minutes seems far too short. And I don't think at any point I was playing Robocraft Infinity and found myself feeling like the games were going too long. But that said, I'm not really sure that anyone was, and I don't really believe that this is the point of the update. Instead, I think it's far more likely that the second point of this update was the real main driving force. Namely that shorter games means people will be back in the lobby quicker, which of course will mean more people waiting for games, which will result by right in a shorter waiting time in matchmaking. Whether this be because people like me have been complaining about the wait time, or if it's become necessary because the player base has dropped off, I hope that's not the case, but it's entirely possible, remains to be seen. Though that said, last night I still encountered a lot of long wait times, so I'm not really sure this has helped much. And on top of this update already rolled out, they've also said that they plan to do the following updates before the end of May, which, by the way, I must again commend FreeJam for how actively they're supporting this game. It's really cool to see that, essentially, on a weekly basis, they're updating and balancing and planning to improve the game further. And in this future update, they're planning to eliminate many causes of crashes and improve title instability, which I assume is referring to the occasional crash to desktop that I was encountering earlier. Though that said, I'm not sure I encountered it this week, so maybe that's already been improved on. They're also planning to offer improved connection stability, which is what I was talking about at the start of this video, planning to introduce a party widget which will help the queuing process, and finally planning to eliminate cosmetic crates from the game and offer cosmetic currency in their place. But Grim, you say? In a previous video, you stated that they plan to remove all loot boxes, but here it just says that they're planning to remove cosmetic crates. What's going on here? Well, to answer that, we have to look to Robocraft PC. In a recent update, Robocraft PC has themselves just removed cosmetic crates but not the regular crates in the game, and put up a blog post that stated, and I quote, "We've always been clear that removing loot boxes from the game, Robocraft PC, would be a massive undertaking and that it would take time. In order to get the changes to you quicker, we said that we would be removing them in stages." End quote. And of course, removing just the cosmetic crates was stage 1. And while it's not really being communicated to us, I think it's pretty safe to assume that they're going to be following a pretty similar pattern for Robocraft Infinity, which would mean that their statement that they plan to, by the end of May, remove cosmetic crates from the game is just stage 1 of removing loot boxes entirely. And that brings us to the end of all the updates, which means it's time to talk about what vehicle I built this week, aside from the octopus, which you've already seen. And while I feel like somewhat of a broken record stating this, it is of course still Star Wars month, which means I'm going to be building a Star Wars vehicle, and I did, and here it is. Last week I was building a Star Wars Y-Wing, and as Y-Wings are, it was fairly unmaneuverable, but still fun, to move around and do bombing runs. Though this week I had an urge to be a bit more maneuverable, and so have built a headhunter. For those of you who don't know, which is entirely understandable because I don't think a headhunter has actually got any screen time, the headhunter is what preceded the X-Wing. And this is probably currently my favourite vehicle to pilot. It's fast moving, it's really maneuverable, and it's great for dogfighting. You just really don't want it to take a direct hit from a sniper. And with all of that said and done, that just about wraps up this week's video. So, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I have been and still am Grim Grindle. If you want to follow me on social media, the link to my Twitter is available in the description, and if you want to join the Channel Grim and Grin Discord, the Echo Chamber, a link to that is also in the description below.